What if the confusion, loneliness, and restlessness you feel right now aren't random, but they're actually powerful signs you're a chosen one awakening to your true purpose? I learned firsthand that these intense feelings are part of something bigger and that they indicate that you are meant for a different path than the rest. So in this video, I'm going to show you what it means to be a chosen one, 7 clear signs you're on the path of awakening, and how to step into your purpose with clarity. If you've ever wondered, why do I feel so different from everyone else? You might be closer to the truth than you think. When I say chosen one, I don't mean someone better than others or specially selected by some secret spiritual council. I'm talking about a person whose life keeps nudging or sometimes shoving them towards awakening earlier than most. You feel more, you question more, and you can't ignore the truth when something's out of alignment. That pull is the call. Chosen ones are often the sensitives, the healers, the creatives, the quiet leaders, and you might resonate with words like light worker, starseed, or indigo. And it's just different labels people use for the same core energy. A soul level urge to bring more clarity, compassion, and consciousness into the world. The label really doesn't matter, it's the mission that does. So a chosen one is someone whose life is actively calling them to wake up, to become more aware, to become more conscious, to not follow the norm. You're not here to fit in, you're here to remember who you are at a soul level and live from that truth. And then to allow that truth to ripple outwards so you can go and wake up even more people. So how do you know if you're a chosen one and this call is waking up in you? There's a few unmistakable signs that start to show up. I had a client once who told me, I got everything I thought I wanted. I got the dream job, I have an amazing apartment, I'm in a relationship, and now it all feels wrong. And she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "What's happening to me? Why am I not happy? What's wrong with me?" This is usually the first sign you're a chosen one on the verge of an awakening. The thing that once felt exciting suddenly feels empty. Your dream job feels like a cage, your relationship feels unfulfilling, and perhaps your communities or friendships seem superficial. It's your soul rejecting what's no longer aligned. It feels like you're breaking down, but it's actually the first crack in the shell. It's a sign that something new wants to be born. So instead of panicking or forcing yourself to go back into old routines, start noticing what your soul is drawn to instead. So keep a journal and write down what sparks curiosity, what feels draining, where your mind wanders, and what doesn't feel right anymore. That's your inner compass starting to wake up. And once you start questioning everything in your outer world, another shift begins to happen. Have you ever been at a party or a big gathering surrounded, by laughter and people chatting, and suddenly you felt like you didn't belong there at all? I remember sitting with friends one night, smiling, nodding, laughing, and inside I felt a huge wave of emptiness. It was like I was on a different planet than everyone else, and I felt like I was having a sort of outer body experience. I was here, but I wasn't really here. And that's the second sign you're starting to awaken. You feel completely alone, even around people. It's not depression, and it's not that you've become, antisocial. It's spiritual separation. You're being pulled inward so you can start to hear yourself without all the noise. Superficial conversations don't engage you anymore. Small talk almost might feel physically painful. So you kind of find yourself pulling away because being around people isn't filling up your cup anymore. And as a result, you feel alone. So instead of forcing yourself into social settings that drain you, give yourself permission to just step back. And I call this the hermit mode because it's like you're retreating into your own little cave and you feel the pull to isolate. And the more comfortable you become with your own company, the stronger you will be when your true soul level connections start to appear. But it's not just your social life that changes. When you're awakening, even the most ordinary parts of life can start to feel different. I had someone tell me, I used to love my job, and now just sitting in front of my computer feels like my body is shutting down. And trust me when I say I have felt this myself in my previous jobs when I was going through my spiritual awakening. There's deep exhaustion, not because you're working too hard, but from being in the wrong energy. And this happens when your soul is rejecting structures and activities that no longer fit. What once felt normal suddenly feels unbearable. And it's not laziness, but it's a wake-up call. Normal life feels draining because normal life isn't aligning with you anymore. You've built your normal life when you were still asleep, but now that you're waking up, of course, this normal life doesn't feel right anymore. So you have to pay attention to your energy. Notice where you feel drained versus where you feel alive, and start making small shifts, small changes that make you feel better. Maybe changing your routine, working outside, or trying out new hobbies and practices in your day. Your exhaustion and tiredness is a sign that something needs to change. And as you start making those small changes, there's another shift that begins to happen. There's a moment on this path when your mind starts to ask so many questions. Why am I here? What's real? What's my purpose on this earth? Why do I feel like I'm meant for something more? I remember lying awake at night for so many nights, just writing down questions in my notebook that I had no answers to. I felt like I couldn't sit still. I was questioning myself. I was questioning my life. I was questioning my desires and goals and dreams that I've had. I was questioning society and the world and the way things functioned and systems that were in place. And this is one of the key signs you're a chosen one beginning to wake up. You start to question everything. All these questions cause a sort of chaos in your mind. But that chaos is sacred. It means your ego, the old identity you built your life around, is starting to unravel. And it's scary because no clear answers come right away. But that's because the questions themselves are starting to reshape you. So don't rush to find the answers. Sit with the discomfort of not having the answers. Ponder on the questions. Journal about them, see what insights they start to bring up. These questions are not here to give you immediate clarity. They're here to open the door to a deeper truth. But what happens when you start living with all those questions and no easy answers? I once worked with a client who said, I'm not sure I'm enjoying going through the spiritual awakening because it feels like everything I built my life on is dissolving. They had friends disappearing, their career was losing meaning, their long-term relationship ended unexpectedly, and the goals and dreams that they didn't want those goals and dreams anymore. So it's easy to feel like your life is falling apart, but it's not. It's a purging stage. It's a clearing process. This is an indication you're a chosen one waking up. All identities, roles, and attachments start to fall away fast because they can't come with you into your next chapter. And from my own personal experience, it's okay and normal to feel sad and to grieve and to be maybe even upset. I had to let go of a lot of things during my awakening. Many of them I didn't want to let go of, but I was called to be on this path and I needed to surrender to something greater than me. I needed to honor these things coming to an end. So yes, things are falling away and it's scary and there's a lot of empty space, a lot of unknown that opens up. But remind yourself, this empty space is fertile ground. So start focusing on planting new seeds that will help you in the future. Start new practices, explore new connections and communities that feel deeper and more fulfilling. Start to wonder what other work might feel more purposeful. And as you step into that empty space, you might notice a surprising new experience emerging as well. For me, this next experience as I began to wake up was one of the hardest ones. I suddenly couldn't handle really busy and loud environments. Certain foods or alcohol, felt very wrong in my body. I couldn't be around certain people at first, and I thought that there was something wrong with me. But there wasn't anything wrong. I was beginning to wake up, and as a result, my body, my mind, and my energy systems became incredibly sensitive. It's like someone had turned up the dial on my sensitivity and my tolerance to everything. So don't be surprised if you begin to feel very sensitive. Your body and energy are becoming more sensitive so they can hold more awareness. You're literally being tuned to a higher frequency. So instead of judging your sensitivity, being bothered by it, wishing that you weren't this way, start honoring it. I felt like my sensitivity was limiting me, and I was frustrated that I was feeling so much because it was easy to be overwhelmed, but it's an essential step in waking up. You're becoming more aware and more conscious, not only of the things that you can see, but also of the things that you can't see. You can only feel them. So start noticing what supports your energy versus what drains it, and make sure you follow the guidance that your body is sharing with you. As your sensitivity increases, you might also notice a kind of push and pull happening inside of you. This one's a tricky one because as you begin to wake up, you will notice yourself going into hermit mode, as I mentioned, spending more time alone, journaling, wanting to be in nature, avoiding crowds and big groups of people. But at the same time, there's this deep longing that starts to open up for connections. And it feels very confusing because it's like you want both. You want distance, and you want closeness. And this is the transition. You're moving out of old codependent, superficial patterns and connections into a new kind of connection, conscious connection. So as you feel the desire to isolate and pull away, give yourself this permission to go inward. That solitude is really necessary because you're beginning to learn more about what you want and what types of connections would best support you. But also stay open to the people who do show up on your path, the ones who feel different, people who feel more authentic, deeper and more real. During this time of isolation, you're becoming more clear of who you want to be and who you want to be surrounded by. So put this intention out into the universe. Focus on the type of connections and communities that you would like to call into your life. As you are a chosen one on the path of awakening, you will begin to call in more people on that same path. If you're experiencing all of these signs, know that you're not alone. You are a chosen one on the path of a spiritual awakening. And as you move through these stages, you may notice that you feel mentally and physically overwhelmed as well. So watch this video next where I share a powerful practice to help calm your mind and soothe your body so you can navigate your awakening with confidence.